Hello and welcome to this lesson, to this video. And now we're going to start going through the process of downloading and installing Flutter. And as you can see here, we are at Flutter.io. So you can go to Flutter.io, as you can see here. And you'll see this awesome, beautifully crafted page where you can see all of the different things about Flutter and so forth. And you can see at the top here, it says the latest Flutter release preview 1. And of course, this might change by the time you are watching this video. So that's not important. It's just that you need to know that as Flutter is still evolving, things will also change on this page. Okay? And there's a lot of information here about Flutter. Again, you can read on your own time how Flutter works and so many other things. So what we're interested in is the Get Started. So click on that and you can see here we have the Get Started install page for install Mac, Windows, Linux, and those are the main ones. So for instance, if you're on Windows, of course, you're going to install on Windows, and I'll show you how to do that next time. But we are indeed on Mac, which means we have to obviously look into installing on Mac OS. So we click here. And of course, you see a lot of explanations and things to do to set things up. It can look a little bit scary at first, but don't worry, it's not as bad as it seems. But there are a few requirements. As you can see here, it says operating system has to be Mac OS, of course, and 64-bit, and some disk space that it's required to have, about 700 megabytes or more. And there it is, more explanation here on how to download. So things have changed since last time. Now you can just click on this flat Mac OS beta zip folder or file and can click on that to start downloading. So let's do that. It'll take a few seconds. And as that happens, you can see it's downloading now. We can go ahead and start reading other things that you can do. So now it's all downloaded in our machine, and it's time for us to look on how do we then install in our system. So the first thing you need to do is to go to your documents or to your folder and create a dev file folder. Okay, this is where we're going to extract all of the content from our zip file into. So then I'm going to just transfer all of this, see, the Flutter folder that we extracted from what we just got. Take all of that, so that is where our Flutter dependencies and files contain, and put that, all of it, inside our dev folder. Okay, that's very important. I created a dev. You could have named whatever you want, but I like it just simple as that, so I know exactly where things are. So now we have dev and then Flutter, and inside of Flutter we have all of the dependencies, files, and everything that we need for our Flutter. Okay, now get out of there. And let's keep reading here. So there's two ways to do that. Okay, we can add our Flutter tool. So add Flutter to our path. We can do this way, as it says there. But the problem with that is that that's just temporary, right? If we want to have it so that it's not temporary, meaning that it will always be meaning that Flutter is going to be forever globally installed in our application. We should find a different way, which they tell us how to do. So we have it all permanently on by going here. So update your path. I'm going to open that in a new window. And there we go. So to update our path, to make it global, or not temporary, we need to follow these instructions here. So we shall do all of that. We need to open our bash profile, okay, or create it if we don't have it. And then we need to actually add the path to our bash profile. The path, what is the path? The path where we put our Flutter folder that we just added. So I'm going to open up terminal. So once I have that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the bash profile. So to open a bash profile, what I have to do, I have to add open dash and then e.bash _ profile, and I'm going to hit enter. And the moment you do that, you notice that we now have this .bash profile open. Okay, and you see there's a lot of stuff in that in our profile here. And for you, you may not have as many things as I do. Don't worry about it. I'll just show you what we need to do. So here is where we're going to add our path. What is this path? Well, this is the path to where our Flutter that we added is, right? So we need to add this export. Okay, put in a new line there, hit enter. And then we have to actually add the path, right? Where our Flutter, our dev Flutter is. That's very, very important. But most importantly, notice we have to actually put where the bin is. And I'll show you in a second here. So let's go ahead and get the link or the path to where our bin folder inside our Flutter is. To do that, I usually just drag and drop that all inside. And look at that. Once you do that, it actually gives us the correct path, which is important. Notice again, it has to be bin because that's where the binaries are. So you go to Flutter, under Flutter, and enter bin. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to copy that. And once I have the path, I'm going to paste it inside here. Now notice, because when we copied this whole line, we also end up adding the bin, the Flutter.bin. So when we paste it all in, we have to be aware that we have to delete the rest that we don't need, because we can't have, as you can see there, Flutter bin again, right? So we delete one of them, so we only have one Flutter bin. Makes sense, because that would be the true path. Okay, so I'm going to delete that. And there we go. So now we have added our path where our Flutter is inside of our Bash profile. This is a very crucial, important piece of the puzzle. Okay, again, remember to delete that Flutter bin, that's residual that we added from copying this path from the website. Okay, so once you do that, just hit enter and save it. So save it, and we are done. So you can get out of this. And now what we need to do is we need to verify that the Flutter bin directory is now in your path, or in our path in this case. To do that, we're just gonna write a command called, actually what we need to do is to run the echo path, like I said before. Okay, let's go ahead and run that command. So there it is. We had to do the Flutter bin first. Now let's do the echo path, like that. And there we go. So to the naked eye, this is just jumble mumble here, right? Nothing really special, nothing important, but we know that everything is actually installed because it gave us a lot of different paths. And you can see, if you inspect closely, that we have the dev Flutter bin there, which is wonderful. So now we do have our Flutter added to our path, and it's all installed. So the next thing we need to do here is, let's see, say Flutter, and look at that. The moment you write Flutter, we have a lot of code that shows up, which means it is indeed installed in our path. Okay, very nice. Now, the next thing we need to do here says to update an existing version, we can just run the Flutter doctor. Okay, what this does is it tells us how things are and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to just say clear here to clear things up. I'm going to write Flutter doctor, and it will take a few seconds to go through the repository where Flutter lives, the channels and everything. And now we have a report of everything that is installed. Look at the top there, it says Flutter channel beta and so forth. It's all installed. But notice also there's a few things that haven't been installed, like devices that have been connected, Android Studio not installed, iOS toolchain not installed, Android license status also unknown. So don't worry about that. All we are worried about, and we're happy to know that it's all installed, Flutter is installed. We'll install Android Studio and everything else.